And hello, welcome to the Social Justice Forum. I am your host, Daren, Jaime. We thank you for joining us. Now, if you ask the question, what is the show all about? Well, we bring you a forum that discusses and provides a deeper understanding on some of the issues, some of the inequities that so many communities face. Things from systemic inequalities to pressing social problems. Our guests provide multiple perspectives and insights, helping us better understand and address the challenges. And then we talk about some other stuff as well. So we invite you to stay connected to us because the Social Justice Forum starts now. And welcome back. For over 4 decades, one event has stood as the pinnacle of gospel music celebrations, bringing together the most influential voices in the industry for an unforgettable experience. The McDonald's Gospelfest returns for its 42nd annual celebration, continuing to inspire, uplift, and spread good news through music, arts, and entertainment. Join me now is the Emmy Award-winning producer and director of McDonald's Gospelfest. We've got A. Curtis Farrow here with us, and my brother.
Hey,
good to have you, man.
Your brother, and that's correct.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
Good to have you, man. Good to have you.
I
mean, it's great to have this conversation. Great to be with you because it's an important time for you.
Yes.
But I do want to take the moment just to unpack something for a minute because the work that you've done has been tremendous in the community. And when we talk about social justice.
Yes.
This has been a form of social justice, if you will, bringing much needed resources to the community.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And folks don't realize it, but especially, I love young people.
Right.
And especially with the McDonald's Gospel Fest, for years and years and years, it's really about young people. So it's really about getting in the community and having that connection. A big part of social justice is making sure we are connected. And that is really a big part of the McDonald's Gospel Fest. I mean, years and years ago, the group of Black McDonald owner-operators, they came up with the idea of Gospel Fest. They were the first people in the world to take that word festival and cut it to fest. Mm-hmm. And as you know, McDonald's Gospel Fest blew up, and now you hear everybody's got a fest.
Right.
But the point is what they wanted to do. At that time, McDonald's was sponsoring the Olympics, the NBA, the Super Bowl. And they were like, that's all great, but we want a deeper dive of supporting folks who are in the community. And we want to do that through gospel music. And, and they were determined, a group, led by the great Lee Dunham and many of those, they were really truly
the pillars, right?
They were pillars, but they were really, I guess what you could call them, civil rights advocates.
Right.
And they were determined that we needed to do something to go back to the community on the ground. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that's great that they see it on the NBA. Come on, we all know that the NBA is sort of like untouchable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they see it in the Super Bowl, untouchable. But they were like, no, we want something that touches the community and something that we can get in there and we can help the community. And there's just so many stories about what McDonald's Gospel Fest has done in different communities. And even going to different communities and doing the auditions in different settings of downtowns or areas that people are like, oh, that area is not great to go. And we go to the Gospel Fest, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, wow, they did the Gospel Fest there and there was no trouble, there was no this. Oh, we can invest there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're right. It's social justice is not about just marching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's about advocacy and
correct.
And it's about equality and fairness and all the stuff that
activating.
you talk about.
Activating.
And part of what you do, not part, a big core of what you do is tied to the church, right? And
Absolutely.
the fact is that when we talk about social justice,
you got to talk about the church.
You got to talk about the church.
Yes.
Every major social justice movement came through the church. The
That's
Million
correct.
Man March
That's
came
correct.
through the church.
That's
Voting
correct.
rights came
That's
through
correct.
the church.
That's correct.
The March on Washington came
Correct.
through the church.
And the Black Lives Matter was a group, the young people really pushed that and led that. But then it just dropped off.
Right.
Then it just I always say to young people, where are you?
Right.
What happened? You know what I'm saying? And now we're back with the church is leading again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So the church has always been, I would say, the apex or the center of social justice in this country, not for just black people, though.
Right.
You know, if you really know socially what's happened in this country.
The marginalized, the underserved, the immigrant, the whole 9 yards, they've been there.
Yeah. It's really all of us benefit from socially being involved.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about what's going on now, man, because you got some great things happening. McDonald's Gospelfest continues
again. It's that time of the year.
This is year what now?
This is my 26th year.
Okay.
And it's the 42nd year of McDonald's Gospelfest. There's no other gospel event in the world that can say that.
So we're doing things a little bit differently because normally we usually find you at the Prudential Center.
That's correct.
If you've never been there before, I mean, I honestly can say that they have the New Jersey Devils games there.
Right.
That event is like, they struggle to really pack it out, let's just be honest, until they started winning. But McDonald's Gospelfest, you got people like, it's sold out, standing room only.
Yeah, and you know what's wild about that? We were their first event outside of the Devils.
Wow.
Yes, when the venue first opened, we were their first event, McDonald's Gospelfest. And it was wonderful, you know, packing all those people in there when everybody said to me, don't do it.
Right.
You're never going to get the community. See, that's social justice.
Right.
Nobody when you don't believe, you know what I'm saying? You got to activate and show people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that to me is the biggest part of being social. And so what I think what we did is that we went there, we did great, and it was going magnificently. But God put it on my heart, like in the beginning, we used to go from place to place to place, and I had so many New Yorkers, because I moved it there in 2006, but I had so many New Yorkers and Connecticut folks saying, you took our program. When are you going to bring it back? You took our program. So then last year, as you know, we did 4 separate shows. We did some churches. We did the Lehman Performing Arts Center. You know what I'm saying? So we mixed it up. And oh my God, the reception was amazing. People were just like, it was like, I felt like I had maybe stole something that meant so much to people, because I literally had some people were like crying because they were so happy that we were back close to the community where they could go, they could still celebrate. And they just felt ownership.
Yeah, because sometimes it might be a little transportation issue getting out to New Jersey or whatever, but to have it in your own backyard or to watch your loved one or your choir right there, that's what it makes, right? So, so now this year you got 4 locations?
We have 4 locations. We have this Saturday, April the 5th, we're at the Union County Performing Arts Center in New Jersey, and that's Yolanda Adams and is our big star this year. So we have Yolanda Adams, we have Vashawn Mitchell, and Rich Talbert Jr., and it's going to be magnificent. That's this Saturday. But then the big weekend, it's Mother's Day weekend, because we've always owned Mother's Day weekend. You know, when I used to do Mother's Day weekend, and I can tell you this in 2000, in 99, but in 2000, we were Father's Day because that's when they had done it. And I came in and said, when they hired me as the producer, I said, wait a minute. How come we're on Father's Day? Let's move it to Mother's Day. That's who's going to buy the tickets. Right. And the minute we moved it to Mother's Day, it went crazy. And everybody was telling me, don't do Mother's Day. Don't do Mother's Day weekend. I mean, there were no big concerts. You know, nobody touched. It was like the Holy Grail. You did not touch Mother's Day weekend. There was church and going out to eat, and that's it. Right. And so we did it, and we blew up, and now everybody, I mean, there are pop concerts, rock concerts, everybody's got something going on Mother's Day, and I'm happy to say that we started that. That's it. And so Mother's Day weekend is huge, and we are starting Mother's Day weekend off on May 9th, that Friday night, right here in the Boogie Down Bronx, right here at the Lehman Performing Arts Center, and we are excited. We have a fantastic lineup. I mean, people are saying to me, all you got to do is just roll out the carpet and let them just sing, you know? So we're excited about that.
Can you share the lineup with us, too?
Yes, I can share it. Okay, of course, I said it before, Yolanda Adams. Right. The great, backed by popular demand. She was here last year, but backed by popular demand, Shirley Caesar. And we have Karen Clark, and you know, can't nobody outsing Karen Clark. Karen Clark Sheard, the First Lady, of Church of God in Christ,
That's right.
Yeah, so Karen Clark, and booked Karen Clark, and you know, Dorinda was like, you can't book Karen and not book me. So then we booked Dorinda Clark Cole.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, so everybody's saying to me, oh my God, you got Yolanda Adams, who nobody can really outsing. You got Karen Clark, nobody can outsing. You got, the First Lady of Gospel Music, who can usher in the Holy Spirit no matter where she is.
Right.
I mean, no matter where she is. Then you got Dorinda Clark Cole, who can sing, but who also ushers in a spirit. And they were like, you're never going to get out of there. And I'm like, no, we're going to have a phenomenal time. So we're excited that May 9th, that Friday, we will be right here in the Bronx, right here at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. And I think people can go online, go on their site, or they can go to Ticketmaster and you'll see the tickets for that particular show.
Right. And then you're going down into the city.
Yes, and then we're going gospel music on Broadway.
Okay.
We're going on that Saturday, we're going down to 43rd Street in Times Square at the Palladium Theater. We're so excited. We're taking gospel music on Broadway. It's going to be such a great weekend. And, I love it because we're going to be on Times Square. People can go and have lunch beforehand. There's so many restaurants. And, think about mothers just being in Times Square. It makes it a bigger deal. You know what I'm saying? It's so exciting. And so then we're taking that group there on that Saturday. We're doing a 2:30 show, a 2:30 matinee.
Okay.
And we're doing an evening performance at 7:30, just like the Broadway shows. And again, that's Yolanda Adams, Shirley Caesar, Karen Clark shared, and Dorinda Clark Cole. And you know me, I got something up my sleeve. We're going to have a surprise that day, too.
I bet you will.
Yes,
It's always that way. It's got to be a good feeling, though.
And that's Ticketmaster. Go to Ticketmaster.
So you go to Ticketmaster, make sure you check that out. It's got to be a good feeling, though, for you, because when you talk about 42 years, longevity, how many years you say you've been doing this now?
26.
Right. And you've got Emmy Awards.
Yes.
You've gotten several awards for this.
Yes.
To see it still continue, because we know we live in an environment where things have an expiration date.
Yes.
But it seems that you've cornered the market to a way where there is no expiration date on this right here that we can see, because it's touching so many people.
It's community.
Right.
It's community. And the one part that I forgot, I told you about the stars, but the biggest part of the Gospelfest is the community performers. So we have rappers. So here in Boogie Down Bronx, we're going to have rappers at night. So we make it a competition, but it is really a time for them to really show everyone their talents and gifts that God has blessed them with. So that night we're going to have rappers as well, and we're also going to have the praise dance groups. That's the bigger praise dance groups. And people love them, and they're coming from everywhere. We have them coming from California. This year, people that are in the Gospelfest are coming from Japan. They're coming from Korea. They're coming from all over the world to be a part of McDonald's Gospelfest. And so we're excited. And so the different categories are going to be all over the market. So like Saturday, it's going to be the poets and the groups, the singing groups. Friday here in the Bronx, got to have rap. You can't take rap out of the Bronx.
Right.
So it's going to be the rap category. And then we'll have the praise dance groups, the big groups. Then on that afternoon, when we go downtown on that afternoon, we're going to have the female soloists, and we'll have the solo to trio praise dance groups, the smaller. And then that evening, we'll have everybody's favorite. We'll have the choir competition and the male soloists, which are the two most favorite categories for everybody.
I want to talk to you about some too while we got you here. Many people may not know that you're the person that's responsible for taking care of the arrangements for Whitney Houston.
Yes.
So if you saw that funeral, that's him.
Yes.
Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Sissy Houston.
Yes, my dear sister, we just lost her. Yes.
All those voices have been at McDonald's Gospelfest.
Yes, absolutely. And Sissy Houston was at the very first one, she was a judge in the very first McDonald's Gospelfest 42 years ago.
Wow.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I was there with Aretha.
Yes, you were there.
Right.
You were there.
And so,
absolutely.
Looking at the legacy that they leave behind and the work that you still have ahead.
I am, they left such a legacy and such a mark on me as a person, as a leader, as a person who's in charge. And I have to say, I learned something different from each one of them, if you know what I mean. I will say this, that, Aretha Franklin, I was friends with her, became friends after booking her. You know, it was a dream because the last time she had done a gospel concert was when she filmed the movie, when she filmed The Amazing Grace. She put that album out, which was the #1 gospel album for like 30 years, for a lot of years. And so I was determined. I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get Aretha Franklin. And everybody was like, never going to be able to do it, never going to be able to do it. And I called her, and she was so nice, and we did it right over the phone. You know, I tell everybody, it was almost like we did the contract on tissue paper or tissue box. That's kind of how it happened. And she's like, okay, now we'll have the lawyers put it together next week. You know, and we became friends, and she would call me at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I always knew she was on the bus, couldn't sleep.
Right.
But what she taught me is that entire time, even through all of our friendship, she taught me something as a leader that for me to never let go of. She said, people will want to call you Curtis. People will want to call you, you know, other things. But she's like, but you are Mr. Farrow. And she always called me, this is Aretha Franklin.
Right.
She always addressed me as Mr. Farrow. Just so that I could remember
The respect
and the responsibility of leading. You know what I'm saying? And so, so that was, you know, just amazing. And of course, Sissy Houston, you know, who I was 100% close to, you know, she sort of did the same thing. Even during Whitney's homegoing service, she was saying to me, here, that's your black card. It's on you. Basically, she was like, do what you got to do. I trust you to make it be the best and to do what we need to do. Yeah, and the people don't even know, like people always say, oh, it was so great, but I was the one who made the decision that we were only going to use one camera in the church. And people to this day are like, oh my God, did you only use one camera? We used one camera, but that move of using only one camera made everybody on the outside felt like they were able to peek in. And lock in.
Right.
And that one camera, that's all we used. And and people still talk about that to this day. Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I met Aretha, oh my God, like several years back. And then she came up to Syracuse. And, we were backstage with her, got her into
Isn't she great? She was great,
awesome.
right.
She got into the limousine. It is my favorite Aretha Franklin story. She got in the limousine, thought she was going to the hotel, whatever the case may be. And you know what she said? She has a limousine, stretch limousine.
Yeah.
Can we go down here and stop at McDonald's?
Yes, that's her.
Bug me out.
Yes, that's her.
That's who she is.
That's her. We would have her dressing room because her rider has got all of this fancy food, all of this stuff on there. You put all of that in her dressing room and you go in and it's still there. And she'd be like, okay, go down the street and get me a bucket of chicken or go get me something. She was truly a home girl at heart, at soul, and of course, she was the queen.
That's it. That's it.
Yes.
We got to get ready to go. Before we go again,
great.
let's tell the people again.
Okay.
Coming up,
May 9th, right here at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. Mother's Day weekend, it's big, it's big, it's big. You got Yolanda Adams, you got Shirley Caesar, Karen Clark Sheard, and Dorinda Clark Cole for McDonald's Gospelfest. That's May 9th. Go to the website and you can get how you can get tickets. And then that next day, we're going to be downtown at the Palladium on Broadway. And with the same lineup, it's going to be a phenomenal weekend. You can go to Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets. I'm so happy to see you, my brother. I love you.
I love you
and there
too.
ain't nothing you can do about it.
Thank you, bro. Same here, man. Great to have you again.
Thank you for having me.
For year number 42 for McDonald's Gospelfest, as we said, taking place right here at the campus of Lehman College. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more right after this. back. Food insecurity continues to be a growing crisis in New York City, with rising costs, reduced benefits, and limited access to fresh produce, putting more families at risk. However, a revolutionary partnership is underway to tackle this issue. This initiative will link the world's largest produce market in Hunts Point with New York City's most food insecure communities, delivering 1 million pounds of fresh food to those most in need. Joining me now is the founder and CEO of Ending Homelessness, Building a Better NYC, Tomas Ramos, and Director of Operations at Sharing Excess in the Hunts Point Produce Market Division. We got Miranda Potmesil, and thank you so much. Potmesil, I'm sorry. How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, thank you. And I think I'm gonna start off first and share with me a little bit of Tomas about just your take right now, because when we talk about New York City, obviously a lot is going on, but the reality is homelessness and food insecurity continue to be on the rise.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so I founded Ending Homelessness and Building a Better NYC, which is independent expenditure. And let me just break down what independent expenditure is. It's basically a political organization that independently can support candidates, whether it's, local, state, or federal. And normally independent expenditures will only get involved in like political campaigns to help elect, certain candidates. But we're doing things a little differently. Yes, we are supporting candidates that have a platform around ending homelessness and combating food insecurity. But we're actually doing programming on the ground, and impacting families directly through this food program in collaboration with Sharing Access. So this is a little different than most independent expenditures because we're actually providing direct services for community members in our district as well.
Yeah. Miranda, share a little bit about Sharing Access and the work in the partnership.
Yeah, so Sharing Access is a national food rescue nonprofit. We essentially work with wholesalers, farmers, and grocery store chains across the country to capture excess produce and then redistribute that out into the community through partnerships like with HBB. So in the Hunts Point produce market, we work directly on site with all of the wholesale vendors to capture any of their excess produce that they might have.
And as you look at the food insecurity crisis here, obviously, fresh produce is definitely something that a lot of New Yorkers struggle with in the inner city. Huge food deserts. Talk to us a little bit about how you're able to bridge that gap.
Yeah, that's a huge focus of ours is primarily working with food insecure communities in New York City. So we're focusing mainly on the Bronx and East Harlem. Um, we essentially capture all of the excess produce and through partnerships with either large food banks in New York City, like Food Bank for New York City Harvest, all the way down to small churches and local pantries and fridges, we are able to redistribute out this fresh produce for free. And this is mainly done through working with partnerships with community leaders.
And when we talk about the community leaders, they're definitely on board with this. And I guess the process, if you will, and I know, Thomas, if you could share a little bit about how the partnership is really taking legs, the community leaders, elected officials, all are on board to really see this come across the finish line.
Yeah, so initially we reached out to Danny Barber, who he oversees all the NYCHA developments in New York City, citywide. And when we brought this idea of this program around, he was ecstatic about it because he knows firsthand the struggles of families that are having in NYCHA, the high cost of produce that are affecting our families. Then he got on board. Then he connected us with other resident leaders and other NYCHA developments. And now we have the next several weeks set up because of his partnership.
Yeah. So can you give us a little insight as to how the logistics work when it comes to the distribution, and not just the distribution, but really, how you guys are able to do this?
Yeah, so essentially we have a set number of folks that we're aiming to serve at every distribution. Right now, we've been targeting about 300 individual bags per distribution, which essentially feeds a family of 4 per bag. So we'll gather the excess produce from the Hunts Point Produce Market in the morning, and then we load that up onto the sharing excess truck, and we identify the best area within the NYCHA complex that has essentially the most foot traffic so that we can reach the most folks. And we set up some tables and pack the bags and redistribute that out.
Yeah. And what's it been like in terms of community response? I think people sometimes underestimate the amount of people that actually respond to these food distributions.
I
Yeah.
feel like we've seen a pretty large response. Feel free to take that, Tomas.
Yeah, no, we've been seeing a huge response. People lining up, thanking us, and really, talking about the high food costs. Last week, we were able to secure eggs, and as we all know,
Hmm.
a dozen eggs are going close to $20 right now. So we were able to distribute hundreds of cartons of eggs to families, and they were just thanking us because of the high costs of produce and things like eggs right now.
Yeah. I mean, fresh produce is eggs and fresh produce. These are things that are essentials for, nutrition, and also for, for a lot of people, it's their survival. When you're able to really get this and get I should say, put your hands on the food rescue component and get this out to people, knowing that they're having an opportunity to really continue it in a way that's going to really meet their need. It's got to be a great feeling on one side, but then on the other side, it's also very challenging, I would assume, thinking that there's so many people out there that are meeting this need, but yet and still it seems like there's more and more, and that number just keeps growing.
Yeah, definitely. We are seeing an increased request for fresh produce from all across the city. All of our partners are asking to do, increased amounts of distributions frequencies as well. So we're definitely working on scaling up our operations so that we're able to meet the need.
Yeah. And Thomas, how do you close the gap between I should say between food waste and hunger?
Food. How do you close the gap of food waste and hunger? There's different approaches. I always believe education is the true equalizer. So it starts with educating our community, the essential, the how important it is to have access to to fresh food, healthy foods, and then providing them with these resources at their doors as well. So it goes hand in hand. So education around how important it is to keep our bodies healthy, and then providing the accessibility to that for our families, so they're able to access it and provide a healthy meal for their loved ones as well.
Yeah. Can any of you share a little bit about, because when we talk about technology, that's a huge part that's being used in this food distribution as well. Talk about the role of technology, the emergence, if you will, and how that's actually been beneficial to both of you.
Yeah, so Sharing Excess has a proprietary platform that we use to track all of our data, incoming data, and then outgoing to all of our partners. It's extremely beneficial, obviously, to track things in real time and be able to provide these insights to our partners like HBB. It shows impact all the way down to the meals, the number of meals provided, the number of people served, and the GHG emissions diverted, as well as kind of the retail cost saved for anybody that's receiving the produce. So it's been really helpful and impactful, and we are also looking to provide data access to all of our community members as well.
Yeah. And how's it, if we talk about community members, getting that information out there, letting them know that this is available to them. How are you going about letting them know? And, I know you talk about the great response, but talk about getting the word out in the grassroots effort there too.
And that's where our efforts come in. As a grassroots independent expenditure, we have a team, an outreach team that goes out 2 days before the event. When we go knocking on people's doors, leave flyers on every single floor of every single building within the NYCHA development that we're serving. But we also talk to families on the ground, letting them know that we're coming and to spread the word. So we do 2 days before, and then we do the day before as well. And we also let the resident association president know so she can send emails and text messages. So we hit them with the technology, and we also do the grassroots efforts on knocking people's doors and meeting them where they're at.
Yeah. And how about seniors? I didn't get a chance to talk about them as well. Senior centers as well. Talk to me about that. Seniors.
Yeah, we've targeted every single senior center in the southern part of the Bronx and East Harlem. So we already are in partnerships with all the senior centers, and we're continuing to collaborate with them on a long-term basis.
Yeah. Miranda, share with me a little bit about the process of, really partnering with these farmers and those who are really providing the fresh produce. We know that they're under a tremendous amount of stress right now, and they're going through it. But yet and still, you've been able to have some significant progress.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what's happening politically, there's always going to be excess produce. It's more of a supply chain issue, right? And that's what we're here to really solve, is just we're here to basically provide them with an outlet to funnel any excess produce. There are constantly trailer loads being rejected across the country for whatever reason. So we are really here to be that solution to rescuing that excess and making sure that it doesn't go to the landfill.
Wow. And you touched on something right there, because I don't think people understand that there are trailers full that actually go to the landfill because they can't find places to really drop stuff off.
Yeah, exactly. That's happening all across the country, all across the world every day. It's insane.
It's amazing. And with as many hungry people as out there, you would think that we should have no problem whatsoever, being able to shuttle this stuff, but yet and still it makes it to, it makes it to the landfill. For the both of you, actually, how does it feel being able to bridge this gap?
No, it feels amazing every time we're out there and just listening to families and thanking us, because we really do know there's a struggle right now with high cost of just food, at large. So being able to alleviate some of these costs, it just brings a smile on my face and brings a smile to all the volunteers and everybody, part of this program.
Yeah. Miranda?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely echo that sentiment. It's extremely rewarding work, and it's not often that the Sharing Access team gets to go out and directly see the impact that we have on communities. So it's been really great partnering with HBB, because we get to be out on the ground and seeing the look on everyone's faces when we're handing them these bags of produce. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah. And Miranda, if you just do me a favor, share a little bit more with our Bronxites, a little bit about, in those in New York City, a little bit more about the work of the Hunts Point Produce Market Division.
Yeah, so we actually set up operations in October of 2023. So we've just been here for a little bit over a year and a half. And in that time, we've been able to rescue and redistribute over 15 million pounds of produce through our operations at the market. And we're now working with over 100 community organizations all across the city. So it's been a huge impact in a really short amount of time. And this is only the beginning.
Yeah. What are your future goals?
We would love to expand as much as we can to be able to serve more folks. Right now, like I said, we focus primarily on the Bronx and East Harlem, and we do touch a bit into Queens and Brooklyn, but there are high rates of food insecurity everywhere, and logistically it's been challenging to get down into those deeper boroughs. So our goals for this year are really to access community organizations and be able to provide food to South Brooklyn and deeper into Queens as well.
Yeah. Tomas, yourself?
Yeah, no, the same. Right now we are focused in the southern part of the Bronx and East Harlem. We would like to expand to different parts in the outer boroughs, because I know there's areas in Brooklyn and Queens that are food insecure and a food desert and are struggling just as much. So we would definitely like to expand operations out there with Sharing Access and hopefully get to more families.
Yeah. And if you had to say a challenge, what would be one of the biggest challenges that you guys are facing?
Well, there's I would say it because we are delivering food outside. So sometimes just the weather, not knowing if it's going to rain, and then people not knowing the amount of people who are going to show up because of the weather, and being able to kind of navigate and predict how many people, how many families we're able to, get to. I think that's probably one of the logistical issues that we've had, because we can't predict how nice it's going to be out and how many people are going to come.
Yeah. And if the public is out there right now saying, listen, this sounds great, I really want to do something in terms of supporting and helping, how can the public be a part of supporting the work that's going on both of your sides?
Yeah, for sharing excess, I mean, we're always looking for volunteers. The produce market is a crazy place, but it's a very interesting piece of the food system to see. And we love to have volunteers come out and help us sort through produce. The more that we have, the more that we can get through.
And for us, you can go on our site, ehbb.nyc, and put in your information, reach out to us, and we always get back to everyone as soon as possible.
Well, I want to thank you both for the work that you're doing. It's definitely a blessing to see how you're able to impact so many lives by really just, the smallest of things. And food insecurity is huge, and there's so many people out there that go hungry. And the fact that you can fill an empty stomach and provide a smile to somebody is definitely worth being commended for. So thank you both for the work that you're doing. You continue the great job.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, guess what? We are going to take a quick break. We got more show coming up right after this.
We're going to start the show right now. This is my favorite part. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, this is Angel, and I am one of the instructors for the in-studio production. Here at BronxNet, we offer classes that can help you elevate, expand, and start your television career. All you have to do is sign up at BronxNet.org/education. For the past 7 years, I have been in various productions, spanning from talk shows, independent films, news reports, art displays, teachings, musical performances, and many more. Ain't that right, Angel? Yeah, you're absolutely right, Angel. There are a lot of creative individuals that we're just waiting to sign up for the class. And if I may, can I also express Thank you, Angel. That's all the time we have left. Visit BronxNet.org/education and become a producer by taking the course. The class I offer is also in English, en español y también bilingüe. Nos vemos en la próxima clase.
19.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with BronxNet Community Media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At BronxNet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated BronxNet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with BronxNet. Visit BronxNet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
And welcome back. The ongoing conversation around reparations and systemic discrimination takes center stage as the New York State Community Commission on Reparations Remedies prepares for its actual fifth public hearing. It's set to take place on April the 10th, marking a crucial opportunity for community members to share their testimonies and insights on how the enduring impact of slavery and institutional discrimination in New York State. Joining me now is the Commission Chair of the New York State Commission on Reparations Remedies, Dr. Seanelle Hawkins, and we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to talk about the New York State Community Commission for Reparation Remedies.
Yes, so please take it away. I think for somebody who may not be so familiar, just give us a little intro.
You know, I'm thrilled to share that New York State is taking a bold step to look at reparative justice for the enduring harms of slavery for New Yorkers, Black New Yorkers in particular. We are excited because this is an opportunity to make some change. And the commission was established in 2024, and we have exactly 1 year to do some research, to work with our community members, to learn more about their experiences, but also to do some deep research about what the reparative process should be. What are the repairs? And so we've been going around the state. There's a commission that was established, as I said, last year by our Governor Hochul, and we're grateful for her support. And of course, the co-sponsors of the bill that established the commission, Senators James Sanders and Assemblymember Szilagyi, and they co-sponsored the bill, and it gives us an opportunity to learn more about next step for reparative justice. So what we've done as a commission is that we've established a process for public hearings. We have business meetings, but public hearings, and public hearings allow the community to provide and lend their voice and their experiences on what are the solutions? What are the solutions that there's a commission of 9 individuals. And if you want to learn more about the commission, you can go to newyork.gov/reparations to learn more and get a deeper understanding. But you can go, the commissioners are learning at the public hearings from the community members about their experiences with the enduring harms of slavery and what they believe the solutions should be. We'll take that information, and at the end of our journey, which we believe will be about the next 18 months, we will put together a report and give that to the governor and the New York State legislative body. And that report will have remedies and solutions on what we've heard and what we've researched and what we believe New York should do. And whether it's by way of policy, by way of different economy, changes in the economy, whatever it is, what we need to do to make those reparative justice changes in New York State. And so it's an opportunity for community members to come out on April 10th. This will be the 5th public hearing. And they can come out on April 10th and provide their testimony. And it's going to be from 5 to 9, and we're going to be in the Bronx. And we are just thrilled to continue this journey of learning more about what the community says. That's the important part of our commission name. It is a community commission.
Right.
And so hearing from the community, doing our research, partnering to learn more, and then giving this report to the governor and to the legislative body.
I think it's no secret that we all understand that historical systemic discrimination has existed for centuries in this country. To be able to get to a place where New York is really addressing it is great, to have open ears. But I want to hear from you in some of your comings and goings a little bit about this discrimination, about the economic impact, if you will. What has been the economic impact that you've heard, that you've seen with regards to discrimination?
Well, one of the things that the commission is doing is we're educating New Yorkers on what some of the injustices and inequities are, whether it be redlining, whether it be blocking of wealth for Black New Yorkers because of they haven't had access. And so there's a series of injustices. And so each session that we have, each public hearing, there is a theme. And so this public hearing theme, we're talking about the Great Migration and post-Reconstruction and the harms that were specifically in the Bronx. So when you come to these public hearings, you're not just learning about what individuals have seen, but you're learning about the role of New York State. And so you'll learn about how redlining has blocked access for individuals to really have a pathway for upward mobility. You're going to learn about New York State's active role in the slave trade. And so certainly most people don't even know that. Most people believe that New York didn't have a role. So these public hearings are really important as to be an opportunity to educate New Yorkers as to why the New York State Community Commission for Reparation Remedies is needed, why it's necessary, why we have to have a pathway for reparative justice. And this is why, because there have been established inequities and there are still lingering harms because of slavery, because of structural discrimination, because of how they've impacted Black New Yorkers. There has to be a pathway to remedy this. And so that is what we're looking to hear from New Yorkers and get experts to prepare their testimony, provide testimony to educate New Yorkers on why this work is important.
What has been the public response since the commission has been formed as you're going out to these public hearings? Of course, you're in the borough of the Bronx soon, but talk to us a little bit about the public response that you've heard so far.
Yeah, well, first of all, we've been in Queens, we've been in Rochester, New York, in Albany, New York. And certainly every time, it's exciting to see at least 150 to 200 people come out. And it's always an education session because many don't know, or many do know, and they're sharing what's happened specifically in their neighborhood. So whether it's talking about urban renewals and the harms of urban renewal programs, what we're learning that. So it's an education process for the community. This commission is still new. We've only been up and running for about a year, so we're still getting data. This is just our 5th hearing. We plan to go all around New York State. So I imagine that we'll probably have 10 to 12 more hearings where we'll capture that data, and that data will be used to inform the report. So it's still not enough information for me to give you all the specifics of what we learned, but it is a process for us. And we plan to share that. Once we make the recommendations, we'll go back around and share them across the state so that New Yorkers can learn more and hopefully gain their support so that we can get our legislators to change, to make the changes that we've provided, to make the changes that have been recommended by the commission. That's what we don't want to go through this entire process and then the changes aren't enacted, right? We want to see that we made some recommendations that came from the community and that we actually see them come to fruition.
Yeah. One of the things that I think people want to talk about is generational wealth. When you look at the fact that slavery, discrimination has played a huge part in the lives, particularly of Blacks, African Americans, as it relates to generational wealth, not even having the opportunity to access that from the jump. From your research, from what you're hearing, talk to me a little bit about that impact of what slavery has done, of what racism has done, particularly to challenge generational wealth. I mean, I think I was having a conversation with my son not too long ago saying that, what happened in Tulsa really was also another part of killing generational wealth as well.
Yeah, when you look at the wealth gap, that's a direct response to what has happened because of the enduring harms of slavery. When we look at communities that are impoverished and there's been no investment, those were things that happened because of slavery. When we look at neighborhoods that are broken and divided, those are the reasons why. So we're still learning. I mean, we know what these things are. It's no secret. But now we need to educate our community so that they can understand the why. Educate our young people so that they understand the why this has happened and the remedies and why the remedies are so important so that we can close the wealth gaps, so that we can change our neighborhoods and make investments in our neighborhood and make sure that there's home ownership for Black New Yorkers, more home ownership for Black New Yorkers, that Black New Yorkers have better access to whether it's health opportunities for their families and their children, but not just for themselves, but for generations to come. And so here's the reparative work that we need to do. We need to learn more. We need to put strong solutions in place, and we need to make sure that they come to fruition.
For yourself, obviously, it's been a great journey since the governor announced his reparations, reparations committee. The fact that so many people are now finding out more and more about it as it goes from city to city to city. Share with us a little from your perspective of what the public is giving you back. Is there skepticism about whether or not any of this is really going to come to fruition? Here I am sharing my heart. Here we are sharing history. We know the story. You talk about it, we talk about it, but it falls on deaf ears. How do you answer the critics that are out there saying, listen, you know what? This is great. We've talked about reparations, but now to have a committee on it, that's great. But we're really not too optimistic about what the future holds.
Yeah, we've heard that. We certainly have heard that from New
Loud and
Yorkers.
proud too, right?
Yes, and we get that, especially the time that we're in today, when there's so many attacks on diversity, on equity, and inclusion and belonging. Absolutely, we feel that. But here's what I tell folks: there is an opportunity. There's a bold statement to say, so by establishing the commission, that we're serious about it. Not only are we serious about it, we put $5 million behind it. We have 9 incredible commissioners that are committed to this work. We don't want to see this shelved and be another report, but it's going to be up to New Yorkers to now, once we provide the report, to champion that report and to make sure it happens. So we'll do our part, but it's going to be up to you to do your part to make sure that our elected officials in New York, so our Senate body, our assembly body, that they vote for this, they vote for the changes and make them happen, bring them to fruition. And so we're going to do our part. We're going to look for New Yorkers to do their part, and we're going to look for the governor and our senators and our assembly members to do their part. And so if we can do that, we can make it happen.
Talk to me about the Bronx in New York City. Running short on time, but I want to talk about the Bronx in New York City and the role in all of this migration and stuff that's going on here. What can you give us a quick history lesson, quick information update?
Listen, I'm not the historian here, but there will be 2 historians that will be there. So we want you to come out on April 10th. We're going to be in the Bronx. Learn more about it on our website at newyork.gov. We're going to be at the Dreiser Community Center from 5 to 9 p.m. 5 to 8 p.m. We'll have the public hearing, and then from 8 to 9, there'll be our business meeting. You can meet me. You can meet the other commissioners. We have our vice chair, Commissioner Jenkins. She will be alongside me, and we're going to be learning more from community members. But it's an opportunity to understand the harms, to provide your voice, and then champion the change. So we hope to see you on April 10th at 5 p.m. in the Bronx.
And as far as moving across other parts of the city and the state, how does a person find out about that?
Go to our website. You can go to our website at newyork.gov/reparations. We're going to be in Long Island next in May, and we're looking forward to that. We're going all across New York. If you can't make the commission meeting, you can still provide testimony via email, or you can call in your testimony. So we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to hear all voices. Here it is. Go to our website, newyork.gov/reparations. Thank you for having me and I represent the New York State Community Commission for Reparation Remedies. Thank you.
No, I thank you so much for being with us, and certainly I think it's great work that's going on. I mean, before we go, share a little bit just from yourself on a personal aspect, from whence we've come, right? And understanding that now you're in this reparations conversation, and from your perspective, a lot closer to reality than a lot of other efforts that are out there. What's that like for you being on the cutting edge of this?
This is certainly, for me, this is what we've been working for. My day job, I work at the Urban League. I'm the CEO of the Urban League in Rochester. So the work is always to champion change for Black and Brown communities and create a pathway to upward mobility. I see this as the opportunity. And I hope that other Black New Yorkers will champion this and see this as well, and not be concerned about whether this is going to happen. Let's work to make it happen. If we have the vision, we can achieve it. So certainly this is important work to me. I'm excited. We don't get paid for this. This is something that we volunteer to do, but we believe in it. We believe that this is part of the change process. And this is something that we are doing for the ancestors. So I am so honored to lead this work alongside the other 8 commissioners. So come on out, learn more. I hope to see you there too.
Yeah, I hope to be there too, but I'm gonna tell you something. I work in the Bronx, but I also live in this place that you passed over, because I see you went to Buffalo, I see you went to Albany, I see you went to Rochester. I'm here in Syracuse, so I don't see Syracuse's name on the list.
We were in Syracuse too. Our first meeting, we had 2 meetings in Syracuse and New Rochelle.
It's not on my notes. I don't know anything about it.
We'll have to get there. We were in Syracuse, but we're going back. One of our commissioners, Commissioner Brown Robinson, she is from Syracuse, New York. So we've got representation from the Bronx, from Rochester, where I'm from Syracuse, all the way to New Rochelle, to the Bronx and Brooklyn. So this commission is well represented by New Yorkers all across the state. So certainly want to see you in Syracuse too. We need to make sure that Syracuse is aware of the commission, and that's the work we all have to do. We have to share that this commission exists. If you ask someone today and if they don't know that there is a community commission that's working on reparations, then we've got a lot of work to do. We're in the process of getting a comms team, a communications team to help us to share that message. But what's most important is that people know that this work is happening and that they have a role in championing the change.
Absolutely.
So Syracuse, if you're listening, that's what you need to do too.
Absolutely. Dr. Seanelle Hawkins, we definitely thank you for coming and sharing with us today and having this conversation with you. I just need to check with my producer and make sure I'm good. But she is the commission chair on the New York State Community Commission on Reparations, Remedies. And by the way, I do know Linda Brown Robinson. I'll just let you know that before we go.
There are some incredible commissioners on this commission that are doing the hard work, that are passionate and want to see this happen. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to tell the story.
No, and thank you for the work that you're doing. And definitely we're looking forward to hearing more from the commission, and we'll have you back to share more as time goes on.
I'm going to hold you through that. We will share more when we have that report done, and we're going to need to get the word out, and we're going to need to get the community busy on championing the work. So thank you.
All righty. Well, thank you. Well, we come to the end of our show today. We hope that you enjoyed this week's discussion on the Social Justice Forum. If you're rewatching this week's edition, catch the recablecast right here on BronxNet.org. And if you want to join the conversation and present your point of view, visit our social media at BronxNet TV. Join us next week. We'll continue to elevate the discussion and bring further awareness across the globe. I'm your host, Daren Jaime, saying take care and God bless.